Jack Harlow woke up on his 30th birthday and felt nothing special. He made coffee in his small kitchen and looked out the window at the wide Nevada desert. The morning sun made long shadows on the sand. Jack lived alone in this house far from the city. He liked it that way. 5 years ago, Jack lost his parents in a strange accident. After that, he moved to Nevada to work on secret projects for the government. He was very smart and knew how to build flying machines better than almost anyone. But he was also very lonely. Jack sipped his coffee and thought about his birthday. No cards would come in the mail. No friends would call. He would work all day, then come home and eat dinner alone. Just like every other day, then he heard it. A loud crash that shook his whole house. Jack ran to the window and saw a cloud of dust rising from the desert about a mile away. Something had fallen from the sky. What was that? He said out loud, though no one was there to answer. The smart thing would be to call someone. The police or maybe his boss at the government lab. But Jack felt a pull toward the crash site. He had to see what it was. Jack put on his boots and jacket, then walked outside. The morning air was cool against his face. He started walking toward the dust cloud. His heart beat faster with each step. After walking for 20 minutes, Jack came to a small crater in the sand. In the middle sat a strange object. It was not a plane or a car or anything Jack had ever seen before. It was round and smooth, about the size of a small bus. The surface was silver, but it seemed to change color when he looked at different parts of it. "This is not from Earth," Jack whispered. Just as he said this, a part of the silver object slid open. It made no sound. Jack stepped back, ready to run, but what he saw next froze him in place. A woman stepped out of the opening. At least she looked mostly like a woman. Her skin shimmered like pearls in sunlight. Her eyes were larger than human eyes, and they changed color from deep purple to bright silver as she blinked. Her hair was white with streaks of blue, and it moved slightly even though there was no wind. She was the most beautiful thing Jack had ever seen. The woman stumbled as she tried to walk. Jack rushed forward without thinking and caught her before she fell. Her skin felt warm and smooth under his hands. "Are you okay?" Jack asked. The woman looked at him with those strange, color-changing eyes. She made sounds that were like music, not words. Then she touched a small device on her neck and it glowed briefly. "You are Jack Harlow," she said. Her voice had an odd melody to it, but her English was perfect. "I have found you." "Good." Jack stepped back in shock. "How do you know my name?" The woman smiled. Her teeth were white and straight, but slightly pointed at the ends. "I know many things about you, Jack Harlow. I have traveled very far to find you." "Who are you?" Jack asked. "What are you?" "My name is Lyra," she said. "I come from a world called Nexus Prime. It circles 2 suns far from your solar system." She looked up at the blue sky. "I believe I am what humans would call a birthday present," Jack laughed. He couldn't help it. This had to be a dream or a joke. "A birthday present for me? From another planet?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, though not in the way you think." She looked back at her ship. "I need your help, Jack, and you need mine." Before Jack could ask more questions, Lyra swayed on her feet. Her eyes rolled back and she collapsed. Jack caught her again, surprised at how light she felt in his arms. "Lyra?" he said. "Are you all right?" She didn't answer. Her eyes were closed, but her chest moved with shallow breaths. She was alive but not awake. Jack looked around. The desert was empty for miles. No one had seen the crash. No one knew about Lyra or her strange ship. He had to make a choice. He could leave her here and call the authorities. They would take her away to some secret lab. Jack would never see her again, or he could help her. Jack looked at Lyra's face. Even unconscious, she was beautiful in a way that made his heart hurt. He made his decision. Very carefully, Jack lifted Lyra in his arms. She weighed less than a human woman her size would. He carried her back toward his house, leaving the strange ship behind in the sand. "Happy birthday to me," Jack said to himself as he walked across the desert with an alien woman in his arms. By the time Jack got home, sweat soaked his shirt. The Nevada sun was high now. He laid Lyra gently on his couch and went to get her water. When he came back, her eyes were open. "You helped me," she said softly. "Of course I did," Jack replied. "You're hurt, and you said you came to find me specifically." Lyra sat up slowly. "Your world has different gravity than mine. Different air, too. I will adjust soon." She took the water Jack offered and drank it all. "Thank you." Jack sat in a chair across from her. So are you going to tell me why you crashed a spaceship in the desert on my birthday? And why you know my name? Lyra's face grew serious. My people have watched Earth for hundreds of years. We know all your languages, your customs. We have studied humans who might help us when the time came. She looked directly at Jack. You were chosen because of your work. Your mind sees patterns that most humans miss. My work is classified, Jack said, frowning. Lyra made a sound like music again. Jack realized she was laughing. Earth's security is very basic to us, she said. We know about your aerospace designs. Your ideas about new ways to travel between stars. She leaned forward. Some of your theories are almost right, Jack. That's very impressive. Jack felt a mix of pride and fear. Why do you need my help? What's happening? Lyra's color-changing eyes darkened to deep purple. War is coming to your world, Jack. My people are not the only ones watching Earth. She touched his hand, and Jack felt a strange tingle like soft electricity. I crash-landed because I was shot down, she said. The enemy found me before I could find you. They will come looking soon. Her fingers tightened around his. Will you help me fix my ship? I can teach you things about space travel that your people won't discover for 100 years. Jack looked at their hands together, his tan skin against her shimmering pearl-like skin. This morning he had been a lonely man marking another birthday by himself. Now an alien woman was sitting in his living room, offering him knowledge from the stars. I'll help you, he said, but you need to tell me everything. No secrets. Lyra smiled and her eyes shifted to silver. No secrets, she agreed. We start now. We don't have much time. Outside Jack's window, the desert sun began to set, painting the sky in colors that reminded him of Lyra's eyes. His birthday wasn't over yet, and already it was the strangest and most exciting day of his life. The small ship flew through the night sky, faster than any airplane on Earth. Jack watched through the clear front wall as they passed over cities and mountains. The lights below looked like stars on the ground. We're flying so high, Jack said. How can we breathe? The ship makes air for us, Lyra explained. And it protects us from the cold and pressure. You are safe here. Jack looked at Lyra as she guided the ship with her mind. Her face was lit by the soft glow from the ship's walls. She looked worried. What's wrong? He asked. The void agents found us too quickly, she said. They must have been watching you for some time. Because of my work? Jack asked. Lyra nodded. Your theories about space travel? They were too close to the truth. The Void Dominion doesn't want humans to develop that technology. Jack thought about his research, his designs for new engines that could one day take humans to distant stars. He had thought he was just doing theoretical work. He never imagined it could attract attention from beings from another world. Will your team be safe? He asked. If the Void agents found us, could they find the others too? I sent a warning signal when we escaped, Lyra said. They will be alert now. 3 hours later, they reached Mount Rainier. The massive mountain rose up in the darkness, its peak covered in snow even in summer. Lyra flew the ship toward a steep side of the mountain where no humans could easily climb. There, she said, pointing to what looked like solid rock. The ship slowed and hovered in front of the mountain. Lyra touched the wall of the ship and a beam of blue light shot out, hitting the rock. A section of the mountain slid aside, revealing a dark opening. Lyra guided the ship inside. They landed in a large cave. As soon as the ship touched down, the rock door closed behind them. Lights came on in the cave, showing a space bigger than Jack's whole house. Other small ships like Lyra's were parked there. Equipment that Jack didn't recognize lined the walls. The door of their ship opened. Jack followed Lyra out. Welcome to our base, she said. As soon as they stepped out, a woman walked toward them from a door at the far end of the cave. She looked similar to Lyra, with the same pearly skin and changing eyes, but her hair was darker with purple streaks instead of blue. Her face was sharper, less soft than Lyra's. Sister, the woman said to Lyra, you've been compromised. Hello to you too, Mira, Lyra said. Yes, Void agents found us. They were watching Jack's house. Mira looked at Jack with eyes that shifted from silver to a cool green. So this is the human scientist. She walked around Jack, studying him. He looks ordinary. Jack felt uncomfortable under her gaze. I'm standing right here, he said. You can talk to me directly. Mira's eyes widened slightly. Then she made the musical sound that Jack knew was laughter. He has spirit, she said to Lyra. You chose well. Jack, this is my sister, Mira, Lyra said. She is our team's tactical leader. Jack held out his hand, then realized Mira might not know the custom, but she took his hand and shook it firmly. We've studied human greetings, she said, as if reading his thoughts. Come. The others are waiting. Mira led them through the door into a hallway carved from the mountain rock. The walls glowed with the same soft light as the ships. They passed several doors before entering a large room. 6 other people stood there. All had the same pearly skin and color-changing eyes as Lyra and Mira, but each looked slightly different. Some were taller, some shorter. Their hair colors ranged from white to deep blue to purple-black. This is our team, Lyra said to Jack. 8 of us came to Earth to prepare for the Void invasion. One by one, they introduced themselves to Jack. There was Terran, a tall male with silver-white hair who was their scientist. Nova, a female with blue-black hair who worked with Earth's computer systems. Zeph, who could pilot any kind of ship. Ilara, who studied human cultures. Kai, their medical expert. And Orion, their communications specialist. We've been watching you for some time, Jack Harlow, Mira said after the introductions. Your work on dimensional folding engines caught our attention 3 years ago. Jack frowned. Dimensional folding? I never worked on that. You called it something else, Terran said. His voice was deeper than Jack expected. Project Starfall. Your papers were classified by your government, but we intercepted them. Jack's eyes widened. Project Starfall was his most secret work. He had theorized that space itself could be folded like paper, allowing ships to travel vast distances in moments. But it was just theory. His bosses had said it was impossible. What you called theoretical, we call elementary physics, Lyra said with a small smile. So you've been spying on me? Jack asked, not sure how to feel about this. Observing, Ilara corrected. We needed to find humans who could understand our technology, who could help bridge our worlds. And now we need your help more than ever, Mira said. The Void Dominion is moving faster than we expected. Their agents are everywhere on your planet. What exactly do you want me to do? Jack asked. The aliens looked at each other. Then Terran stepped forward. Come with me, he said. I'll show you. Terran led Jack and Lyra to another room. This one was filled with equipment that looked more advanced than anything in the landing cave. In the center was a table with a glowing blue map of Earth floating above it. This is our situation, Terran said. He waved his hand and red dots appeared all over the map. These are confirmed Void Dominion agents on Earth. There are hundreds more we haven't identified. Yet, Jack saw that the dots were concentrated in major cities and near military bases. They've infiltrated governments, militaries, research centers, Terran continued. They're preparing for a full invasion. When? Jack asked. Soon, Mira said from behind them. She had followed them into the room. Their fleet is already approaching your solar system. 3 months, maybe less. Jack felt cold fear in his stomach. 3 months? That's not enough time to prepare, to warn people. That's why we need you, Lyra said. Your mind works differently than most humans. You understand concepts that would take others years to learn. Terran nodded. We've developed technology that can defend Earth from the void ships. But it needs to be adapted to work with Earth's existing systems. You understand both worlds. What kind of technology? Jack asked. In answer, Terran led them to a corner of the room where a small device sat on a pedestal. It was about the size of a basketball, made of the same shifting metal as the ships. It pulsed with soft blue light. This is a quantum disruptor, Terran explained. It creates a field that disables void technology. Their ships, their weapons, even the changes they make to human bodies. Jack looked at the device with wonder. How does it work? It generates a specific frequency that interferes with the quantum states that void technology relies on, Terran said. Think of it like noise cancellation, but for the fabric of reality itself. Jack's mind raced with questions and ideas. This was far beyond anything humans had developed, yet somehow he could grasp the basic concepts. So we need to build more of these? He asked. Yes, Lyra said. And connect them to Earth's power grid and satellite network. They need to cover the whole planet. That's a massive project, Jack said. We'd need access to power stations, satellite control centers. How can we do that without revealing who you are? Mira smiled. It was not a warm smile. We have our ways of accessing human systems without being detected. But we need someone who understands those systems from the inside. You. For the next month, Jack worked with the aliens in their mountain base. They taught him their technology, and he helped them understand Earth systems. Every day his mind expanded with new knowledge. Things that would have seemed impossible a month ago now made perfect sense. Taryn was impressed with how quickly Jack learned. "Your brain adapts faster than any human we've studied," he said as they worked on a smaller version of the quantum disruptor. "Lyra says it's because of our connection," Jack said, "that it helps me understand your ways of thinking." Taryn looked at Jack with knowing eyes that shifted to gold. "Yes, the bond between you two is strong, stronger than we expected." Jack wondered what Taryn meant but didn't ask. His relationship with Lyra had grown deeper over the past month. They worked together every day and spent most evenings talking, learning about each other's worlds. Jack found himself thinking about her constantly, admiring not just her beauty but her intelligence, her courage, her kindness. One night, as they sat in a small garden the aliens had created inside the mountain with plants from their homeworld, Jack finally asked the question that had been on his mind. "Lyra, what will happen after? If we stop the invasion, will you leave Earth?" Lyra looked at the strange glowing flowers around them. "That was the plan. To help defend Earth, then return to our remaining colonies." "And now?" Jack asked. Lyra's eyes shifted to that soft pink color that Jack had come to love. "Now, I'm not sure. Things have changed. Because of us?" "Yes," Lyra took his hand. The familiar tingle of energy passed between them, but now it felt natural, right? "The bond we've formed is rare, Jack. Even among my people, such connections don't happen often." Jack moved closer to her. "Is that why your eyes turn pink when you look at me sometimes?" Lyra smiled. "You've learned to read my eyes well." "Yes, that color means affection. Deep affection. I think humans would call it love," Jack said softly. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. "Yes, I believe they would." A week passed. Jack and Lyra worked on her ship every day. Jack learned quickly. The technology was like nothing on Earth, but somehow it made sense to him. Lyra said it was because their minds were connecting more each day. "Your brain is adapting to understand our science," she told him, as they fixed a part of the ship that created energy from light. Most humans would not learn this fast. Jack felt proud when Lyra said things like this. He had always been smart, but working with her made him feel like his mind was growing, expanding to hold new ideas. But on the 7th day, everything changed. Jack woke up early to the sound of cars. Many cars coming toward his house. He looked out the window and saw black SUVs kicking up dust on the desert road. Men in dark suits and sunglasses were getting out. Some had guns. "Lyra," Jack called, running to the living room. "Someone's here." Lyra was already awake, standing by the window. "Government agents," she said. "They found us." Her voice was calm, but her eyes had turned a dark blue that Jack hadn't seen before. "How?" "Did they see your ship?" Jack asked, grabbing his shoes. "No." Lyra turned to him. "They've been watching you all along, Jack, because of your work. They know something crashed near your house." A woman's voice came through a loudspeaker outside. "This is Agent Kimberly Foster of the Special Research Division. We know you're in there, Dr. Harlow. Please come out with your guest. We just want to talk." Jack looked at Lyra. "What do we do? Run?" Lyra shook her head. "No time to run." She touched a bracelet on her wrist that Jack hadn't noticed before. It glowed with blue light. "I need to check something first." She went to the front door and looked through the peephole. Then she turned to Jack, her face very serious. "Jack, do you have something I can use to see better? Binoculars? A telescope?" Jack nodded. "In my office." He ran and got his bird-watching binoculars, then handed them to Lyra. She looked through them at the people outside. After a minute, she lowered the binoculars. Her face had gone pale. "We need to leave now," she said. "They're not who they say they are." "What do you mean?" Instead of answering, Lyra took a small silver disc from her pocket. She placed it on the floor in the middle of the living room. "Stand close to me," she said. Jack did. Lyra stepped on the disc and pulled Jack with her. She said a word in her musical language, and suddenly, a bubble of light surrounded them. Outside, Jack could see the living room, but it looked dim, like he was seeing it through dark glass. "What is this?" he asked. "A shield," Lyra said, "and a cloaking device. They won't see us now." Just then, the front door burst open. 4 men with guns came in, followed by a woman in a black suit. She had short brown hair and wore sunglasses even though she was indoors. "Search the house," she said. "They're here somewhere." Jack held his breath as the agents walked right past them. One man even looked right at them but didn't see them. "This is amazing," Jack whispered. "Quiet," Lyra said. "The shield hides us from sight but not sound." They watched as the agents searched the house. They looked in every room, under the beds and closets. The woman, Agent Foster, picked up a picture of Jack's parents and studied it. "Dr. Harlow is not cooperating," she said to one of the men. "We'll have to take more direct action." She put the picture down and took off her sunglasses. Jack gasped. Her eyes were not human. They were all black with no white part at all. "What is she?" Jack whispered. "Void Dominion," Lyra whispered back. "They've been on Earth longer than we thought. They've taken human forms." Agent Foster turned suddenly as if she had heard something. She looked around the room, her black eyes scanning slowly. "There's energy here," she said. "Strange energy." She walked toward where Jack and Lyra stood inside their shield. "She can sense the shield," Lyra said. "We need to move now." Still standing on the disc, Lyra pulled Jack toward the back of the house. The shield moved with them. They passed right through one of the agents, who shivered but didn't see them. "Head for the bathroom," Lyra said. "There's a way out." Jack didn't understand, but he trusted Lyra. They went into the small bathroom at the back of the house. Lyra locked the door. "The shield will only last a few more minutes," she said. "Help me move the bathtub." "Move the bathtub?" "It's attached to the floor," Jack said. Lyra touched her bracelet again. It glowed, and suddenly Jack could move the heavy bathtub as if it weighed nothing. Under it was a square hole in the floor that Jack had never seen before. "What is this?" "This is my house, but I never knew about this," Jack said in surprise. "The Void Dominion built tunnels under many places on Earth," Lyra explained, "including here. They've been preparing for a full invasion for decades." She started climbing down the hole. "Come on, this tunnel will take us away from here." Jack followed Lyra down a ladder into darkness. The shield of light came with them, giving them enough light to see. The tunnel was smooth and round, big enough to walk in without bending. "How did you know this was here?" Jack asked as they started walking. "My team mapped these tunnels years ago," Lyra said. "We've been studying the Void Dominion's plans for Earth for a long time." They walked for what felt like hours. The tunnel went deep under the desert. Sometimes it would branch, and Lyra would choose a path without hesitating. "Where are we going?" Jack asked. "To my backup ship," Lyra said. "I hid it when I first arrived in case the main ship was found." "You have a second ship? Why didn't you tell me?" Lyra looked at him. Her eyes were that serious dark blue again. "I needed to be sure I could trust you completely, Jack. I'm sorry." Jack felt hurt but tried to understand. "So the ship we were fixing was broken, yes, but it was also a test. To see if you could understand our technology. To see if your mind was ready." Lyra touched his arm. "And you passed. Your mind is exceptional, Jack." The shield around them flickered and then disappeared. The silver disc on the ground went dark. "The shield is out of power," Lyra said. "But we should be far enough away now. The Void agents won't find us here." They continued through the dark tunnel. Lyra's skin glowed enough to light their way. "So those people, they weren't human?" Jack asked. "They were once," Lyra said sadly. "The Void Dominion takes over bodies, changes them from inside. Those humans are gone now." Jack thought about Agent Foster with her all-black eyes. "How many are there on Earth?" "Hundreds, maybe thousands," Lyra said. "In governments, militaries, big companies. They've been getting ready for the main invasion." "And no one knows?" Jack asked. "Some suspect. But the Void are good at hiding. And humans don't want to believe in aliens." Lyra gave Jack a small smile. "Until they meet one." Finally, the tunnel started to slope upward. They came to another ladder. "We're here," Lyra said. "This comes up about 5 miles from your house. My backup ship is hidden nearby." They climbed the ladder. At the top, Lyra pushed open a hatch that looked like a rock from the outside. They emerged into the desert night. Stars filled the sky. "This way," Lyra said, pointing to a group of large rocks in the distance. As they walked, Jack asked the question that had been on his mind since they escaped. "Lyra, how did you know that woman wasn't human? You looked through my binoculars and just knew." Lyra was quiet for a moment. "I have special lenses in my eyes," she finally said. "They let me see things humans can't, energy patterns. When I looked at those agents, I saw the void energy inside them." "Is that why your eyes change color?" Jack asked. "Yes, the color changes with what I'm seeing and with what I'm feeling." They reached the rocks. In between them was a ship smaller than the first one Jack had seen. It was silver like the other, but shaped differently, more like a teardrop. Lyra put her hand on it and a door opened. "This is a scout ship," she said. "Smaller, faster, but it can't go as far." "Where are we going in it?" Jack asked. "To meet my team," Lyra said. "They're waiting for us." Jack looked back in the direction of his house, though he couldn't see it from here. "Everything I own is back there. My work, my parents' pictures." Lyra touched his face gently. "I'm sorry, Jack, we can't go back. The Void agents will be watching, but I promise when this is over you can return." Jack nodded. He was sad about leaving his things, but he knew Lyra was right. And strangely, he felt more excitement than fear. He was going to meet more people like Lyra, see more of their technology. It was like a dream and a nightmare at the same time. They climbed into the small ship. Inside was just enough room for two people to sit side by side. There were no controls, just like the other ship. "Ready?" Lyra asked. "Ready," Jack said. Lyra put her hands on a smooth part of the wall. It lit up with patterns of light. The ship hummed softly and rose into the air. "Where exactly are we going?" Jack asked as the ground fell away below them. "Mount Rainier," Lyra said. "In your state of Washington. My team has a base inside the mountain." The ship shot forward faster than any plane Jack had ever been in. The desert blurred below them. "Jack," Lyra said as they flew, "there's something I need to tell you." "What is it?" Lyra's eyes shifted to that soft pink color that Jack now knew meant she was feeling something personal, emotional. "The connection between us. It's growing stronger than I expected," she said. "I can feel your emotions now." "Can you feel mine?" Jack realized that he could. Right now Lyra was feeling worried, excited, and something else. Something warm that made his heart beat faster. "Yes," he said, "I can feel them." For 3 days Jack kept Lyra hidden in his house. No one came to look for her ship. Jack guessed that the desert crash had not shown up on any radar. Or maybe it had, and someone was watching them already. On the first day, Lyra was weak. She slept a lot on Jack's couch. Her skin would change slightly with her breathing, glowing brighter when she was in deep sleep. On the second day, Lyra felt stronger. She looked at all of Jack's things with great interest. The books on his shelf, the pictures of his parents, the designs for airplanes that he had drawn. She touched everything gently, as if learning about Jack through his things. "Your world is so young," she said, looking at a globe on Jack's desk, but full of life and beauty. "Tell me about your world," Jack asked. They sat at his kitchen table drinking tea that Lyra said tasted strange but good. "Nexus Prime circles 2 suns," Lyra said. "One blue, one orange. Our days are longer than yours. Our cities float above the ground to avoid the large animals that walk our forests." Jack tried to picture it. "Do all your people look like you?" Lyra smiled. "We look mostly the same, but I am changing how I appear to make you more comfortable." She touched her face. "This is close to my true form, but not exactly." "You're beautiful," Jack said without thinking. Then he felt his face get hot. Lyra's eyes shifted to a soft pink color that Jack hadn't seen before. "Thank you," she said quietly. On the third day, Lyra told Jack why she had really come to Earth. "My people are called the Luminary Covenant," she explained as they walked out to check on her ship. "No one could see them this far in the desert. For 1,000 years we have fought against the Void Dominion." "The Void Dominion?" Jack asked. Lyra nodded. Her white-blue hair moved in the wind. "They destroy worlds, take their resources, kill or enslave the people." She stopped walking and looked at Jack. "They are coming here next." Jack felt cold despite the hot desert sun. "To Earth? Why?" "Your planet has many things they want, water, metals, and..." She paused. "Human minds." "Our minds?" "I don't understand." They reached Lyra's ship. In the daylight it looked even stranger. The metal surface seemed to be moving slightly like water with tiny waves. "Human brains have patterns that are rare in the galaxy," Lyra said. She put her hand on the ship and part of it opened again. "Your kind can think in ways that most others cannot. The Void Dominion wants to study this. They will take humans for their experiments." Jack followed Lyra into her ship. Inside was a small room with walls that glowed soft blue. There were no buttons or controls that Jack could see. Just smooth surfaces and light. "How do you fly this thing?" he asked. Lyra touched the wall and images appeared. Stars, planets, and lines connecting them. "With our minds," she said. "The ship connects to our thoughts." She looked at Jack. "Your work on brain-computer connections is part of why we chose you." You almost discovered this technology already? Jack stared at her. How do you know about that project? It's top secret. Lyra made her musical laughing sound again. As I said, your security is very basic to us. She became serious again. Jack, I need to show you something important. It will help you understand why I'm here. She held out her hand. Jack took it, feeling the now familiar tingle where their skin touched. Close your eyes, Lyra said. Jack did. At first he saw only darkness. Then colors began to swirl. Images formed. He saw a planet with 2 suns in the sky. Beautiful cities made of crystal that floated above forests with huge trees. People who looked like Lyra walking and flying and living their lives. Then the images changed. Dark ships filled the sky. Weapons fired. The crystal cities fell. Forests burned. Jack felt fear and pain that wasn't his own. This was my home colony, Lyra's voice said in his mind. The Void Dominion destroyed it 2 of your Earth years ago. The images shifted again. Now Jack saw Earth from space. The same dark ships approaching. Cities burning. Humans running in fear. This is what will happen if we don't stop them, Lyra's voice said. Jack opened his eyes with a gasp. Lyra stood in front of him, tears like small diamonds running down her cheeks. You felt it, she said. You saw through the memory link. Jack nodded, unable to speak. The feelings of loss and fear still echoed in his mind. I'm sorry, Lyra said. I didn't want to show you such terrible things. But you needed to understand. Jack took a deep breath. How can we stop them? If they destroyed your world, how can Earth fight them? Lyra wiped her tears away. My ship was damaged when I crashed. I need your help to fix it. Then I can contact the rest of my team. Your team? There are more of you? Yes, 7 others hidden on your planet. We came in separate ships to avoid detection. Lyra touched the wall of her ship and the images disappeared. Together we have technology that can help defend Earth. But we need humans who understand both worlds. We need you, Jack. They walked back to Jack's house as the sun began to set. Jack's mind was full of everything Lyra had shown him. Worlds beyond Earth, a war in the stars. And somehow he was part of it now. That night they sat on Jack's porch looking at the stars. Now they looked different to Jack. Not just pretty lights, but places where people lived. And fought. And died. I still don't understand why you came on my birthday, Jack said. Was that just a coincidence? Lyra looked at him. In the darkness, her skin glowed faintly. There are no coincidences, Jack. In my culture, the day of birth is when a person's energy is strongest, when new connections can be made. She touched his hand again. I needed to find you when your mind would be most open to me. Is that why I can feel you? When you touch me? Jack asked. Yes, we are forming a bond. It will grow stronger. Lyra's eyes shifted to that soft pink color again. Does it bother you? Jack shook his head. No, it feels right somehow. They sat in silence for a while. Jack had 1,000 questions, but also felt a strange peace just sitting with Lyra. It had been a long time since he hadn't felt alone. Tomorrow we should go back to my ship, Lyra said finally. I can teach you how to help me repair it. The technology will seem strange to you at first. I'm a quick learner, Jack said with a smile. Lyra smiled back. Yes, you are. That's another reason why you were chosen. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He lay awake thinking about everything that had happened. 3 days ago, he had been a normal man with a lonely life. Now he was helping an alien woman fix her spaceship to save Earth from invasion. It should have seemed crazy. Impossible. But after seeing Lyra's memories, feeling her emotions, Jack knew it was all real. And strangely, he wasn't afraid. For the first time in years, he felt like his life had purpose. Jack got out of bed and went to check on Lyra. She was sleeping on his couch, her skin glowing softly in the dark room. Her white-blue hair spread out like a fan on the pillow. As he watched her, Lyra's eyes opened. They glowed silver in the darkness. You can't sleep, she said. It wasn't a question. Too much to think about, Jack admitted. Lyra sat up. I can help if you wish. My people can share peaceful thoughts to help with sleep. Jack hesitated, then nodded. Okay, Lyra stood up and came to him. She placed her hand gently on his forehead. Instantly, Jack felt warmth and calm flow through him. Images of quiet forests and gentle waves filled his mind. Better? Lyra asked softly. Much better, Jack said, feeling his eyes grow heavy. Thank you. Sleep now, Lyra said. Tomorrow we begin our work. As Jack walked back to his bedroom, he realized something. The warm feeling from Lyra's touch wasn't just calm or peace. There was something else there too. Something that felt like affection. Jack fell asleep wondering if Lyra could feel his emotions too. If she knew that in just 3 days he had begun to care for her in a way he hadn't cared for anyone in a very long time. Outside Jack's house in the desert night, a shooting star streaked across the sky. But it wasn't a star, and it wasn't falling, it was coming. 3 weeks passed. Jack and the aliens worked day and night to prepare Earth's defenses. The quantum disruptors were ready, but they still needed to be placed in key locations around the world. And time was running out. The Void Fleet has entered your solar system, Orion reported one morning. The communication specialist's eyes were a worried gray color. They will reach Earth in 6 days. The team gathered in the main room with the floating map of Earth. Mira stood at the head of the table, her face serious. "We need to move now," she said. "Our scouts have detected 12 Void warships. They will arrive in 2 waves. First, a small group to test Earth's defenses, then the main attack. Are the disruptors ready?" she asked Terran. The scientist nodded. "Yes, we have built 20. Enough to create a shield around the planet if placed correctly." "What about the control system?" Mira asked Jack. "Almost done," Jack said. "I've modified it to work with Earth's satellite network. Once activated, the disruptors will link together to form a continuous field." "Good," Mira said. "Now we need to place them. Lyra, you and Jack will take 4 disruptors to the western locations. Nova and Kai, you take the eastern points. Zeph and Alara, the southern. Terran and Orion will handle the northern locations. I will coordinate from here." Jack looked at the map. The points where they needed to place the disruptors were spread across the world. Mountains, oceans, remote islands. "How will we get to all these places in time?" he asked. "Our ships are fast," Lyra said. "We can reach any point on Earth in hours." "What about the Void agents?" Jack asked. "They'll try to stop us." "That's why we move in pairs," Mira said. "One to place the disruptor, one to defend." She looked at Jack. "You've been training with our weapons. Are you ready to use them if needed?" In the past weeks, besides working on the technology, Jack had learned to use some of the aliens' weapons. Light pistols that could stun or, at higher settings, disintegrate their targets. He had practiced in a training room carved deep in the mountain. "I'm ready," Jack said, though his stomach tightened at the thought of actual fighting. "Good," Mira said. "We leave in 1 hour. Prepare yourselves." As the others left to get ready, Lyra pulled Jack aside. "There's something I need to tell you," she said quietly. They went to their special place, the garden with the glowing plants from Lyra's world. It had become their private spot. "What is it?" Jack asked, seeing the worry in Lyra's eyes. "The control system for the disruptors," she said. "There's something I haven't told you about how it works." Jack frowned. "What do you mean?" "I designed it." "Yes, but there's one part we didn't explain." Lyra took a deep breath. "The system needs a living mind to guide it, to direct the energy field precisely where it's needed." "A mind? Like a pilot?" Jack asked. "More than that. The mind becomes part of the system temporarily. It's dangerous, Jack, the amount of energy involved." She looked away. "It could kill a human." Jack felt cold. "So one of you will do it? Connect to the system?" Lyra nodded. "That was the plan. My people can handle more energy than humans." "But even for us, it's risky. Who?" Jack asked, though he already knew the answer. "Me," Lyra said. "I'm the strongest telepath. I have the best chance of surviving." Jack took her hands. "There has to be another way. We can modify the system, make it safer." Lyra shook her head. "There's no time, Jack. The Void Fleet is coming. This is why I didn't tell you before. I knew you would try to find another solution and we'd lose precious time." Jack felt anger and fear mix inside him. "You should have told me. We're supposed to trust each other." "I do trust you," Lyra said, her eyes turning a sad blue. "I just wanted to protect you. To give us these last weeks together without worry." Jack pulled her close and held her tightly. "I can't lose you," he whispered. "Not now. Not after everything." "I'll do everything I can to come back to you," Lyra promised. "Our bond will help me. It will give me strength." They stayed like that for several minutes, holding each other among the glowing plants. Finally, Jack pulled back and looked into Lyra's eyes. "Let's finish this," he said. "Together, and then we'll have our future." An hour later, they were in Lyra's ship flying toward the first location, a mountain peak in Alaska. 4 small quantum disruptors were secured in the back of the ship. Each was about the size of a basketball, glowing with soft blue energy. The first spot should be easy, Lyra said as they flew. It's remote. No void agents nearby, according to our scans. Jack nodded, checking the light pistol strapped to his hip. It felt strange to be armed, but after seeing what the void agents could do, he understood the need. They reached the mountain in just under 2 hours. Lyra landed the ship on a flat area near the peak. Cold wind hit them as they stepped out, carrying the 4 disruptors in special backpacks. There. Lyra pointed to the highest point. That's the spot. They climbed for 20 minutes until they reached the exact location. Jack took one of the disruptors from his pack and placed it on the rock. It seemed to connect to the mountain itself, small tendrils of metal extending into the stone. Now we activate it, Lyra said. She touched the device and spoke a word in her musical language. The disruptor glowed brighter and a beam of blue light shot up into the sky. 1 down, Jack said. 3 to go. They returned to the ship and headed for the next location, an island in the Pacific Ocean. As they approached, Lyra's face grew tense. I'm detecting void energy, she said. They're there, waiting for us. Jack checked his weapon. How many? 3, maybe 4, Lyra said. We'll have to fight our way through. She landed the ship on the beach. The small island was covered in jungle with a rocky hill at its center. The disruptor needed to be placed at the top of that hill. Stay close to me, Lyra said as they stepped out. Remember your training. They moved through the jungle carefully. Jack's heart pounded in his chest. This wasn't a training exercise anymore. This was real. They were halfway to the hill when the first attack came. A blast of dark energy shot through the trees, missing Lyra by inches. She pushed Jack down just as more blasts followed. There! Lyra pointed to a figure moving through the trees. It looked human from a distance, but Jack knew better now. Lyra raised her hand and a beam of blue light shot from her palm, hitting the figure. It screamed, a sound no human could make, and fell. How did you do that? Jack asked in surprise. No time to explain, Lyra said. More coming. They ran toward the hill, dodging more energy blasts. Jack fired his light pistol at a void agent that stepped into their path. The beam hit the agent in the chest and it dissolved into black smoke. Good shot, Lyra said as they kept running. They reached the base of the hill and started climbing. Energy blasts hit the rocks around them, sending sharp pieces flying. A fragment cut Jack's cheek, but he barely noticed. At the top, Jack quickly placed the second disruptor while Lyra defended them, sending blasts of energy at the void agents who tried to follow. Activated, Jack shouted as the second beam of blue light shot into the sky. Back to the ship, Lyra called. They ran down the other side of the hill, taking a different path to avoid the remaining agents. They were almost to the beach when a void agent stepped out from behind a tree directly in front of them. Before Jack could raise his weapon, the agent fired. The dark energy blast hit Lyra in the side. She cried out and fell. Lyra! Jack shouted. Rage filled him. He fired his light pistol again and again until the agent was gone. He knelt beside Lyra. Her side was burned, and her pearly skin had turned gray around the wound. I'm okay, she said, though her voice was weak. Help me up. Jack lifted her carefully. Together they made it back to the ship. Once inside, Lyra collapsed into the pilot's seat. The medical kit, she gasped. In the back compartment, Jack found the kit and brought it to her. Inside were devices he didn't recognize, but Lyra directed him on which ones to use. He pressed a small silver disc to her wound. It glowed and seemed to melt into her skin. That will help, Lyra said. Enough for me to fly, at least. Maybe we should go back to the base, Jack suggested. Let Kai look at you. Lyra shook her head. No time. We still have 2 more disruptors to place. She started the ship with a touch to the wall. The next location is in South America, the Amazon basin. As they flew, Jack watched Lyra with worry. Her skin was paler than usual, and her eyes kept shifting between colors as if she couldn't control them. How are the others doing? He asked, trying to distract himself from his fear. Lyra checked a display on the ship's wall. Good. 10 disruptors are already in place. Ours make 12. We need all 20 to create a complete shield. The Amazon location was easier. They placed the disruptor on top of an ancient temple deep in the jungle, with no void agents in sight. But by the time they finished, Lyra was struggling to walk straight. Last one, she said as they headed for their final location, a spot in the desert of North Africa. Then back to base. The desert was hot and empty when they arrived. No sign of void agents. They placed the final disruptor quickly and activated it. The fourth beam of blue light joined the others now visible in the sky around the world. "We did it," Jack said with relief as they returned to the ship. "Yes," Lyra said weakly. "Now we need to get back to the mountain. The final phase begins soon.